Hello and welcome to the Career Corner, where we answer your career cues. As always, folks, I am your host, Lukas Kauffman, and today we are joined by Amanda Myers, talking about something really cool, something we definitely haven't talked about on the Career Corner before, and we'll reveal what that is soon. But first, Amanda, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. Lovely to be here.
Very excited to talk to you today about your current position. So let's jump right into things. Introduce yourself. Tell us like where you went to school, when you went to school for, and what you're doing now.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Amanda Myers or Mandy. I currently work as a program manager for Girl Scouts of Northern New Jersey. I graduated from Ithaca College in 2023, and I studied anthropology with a minor in education and art while I was there.
Incredible. And what, how did you get involved with the Girl Scouts, excuse me, and what kind of inspired you to take that position?
I was working in events after I graduated college, and I was interested in transforming into a role that was equally events and youth development, youth mentorship, because I've always had a soft spot for working with kids. And I grew up in Girl Scouting out here in North New Jersey, my home. So I was inspired by my grandmother, actually, who reminded me to look into Girl Scout jobs while I was on the job hunt. And I found this position, applied for it, and was working it a month later.
Incredible. And what are your responsibilities? What do you do in your position?
Yeah, my job is planning and facilitating a number of programs. They can be travel programs, they can be badge workshops, and also just wearing a couple of different hats that come with working in a small nonprofit organization.
Incredible. And I was looking at your LinkedIn right before the interview here. So I wanted to ask you about your overnight travel programs. What
Mhm.
goes into planning those? And yeah, start with that.
Yeah, the travel programs are a lot of fun and a lot of work. Some of them are overnight, some of them are just day trips. Living in North New Jersey, there are a lot of really cool cities nearby. We've done trips to, of course, New York City. We've done trips to Philadelphia, to Salem, Massachusetts, to Boston. So for planning those, a lot of reservations are made beforehand for the hotel, for meals. So a lot of prepayments, making sure that checks get out on time and making sure that if we need cash for a bus driver that we request it beforehand, and then making sure that everybody's registered and has the proper ratio of adults to girls to be able to legally travel with them. Any paperwork that we need is completed beforehand. Sleeping arrangements in the hotel. So there are a lot of moving parts, but by the time that the trip runs, everything is set, your roster is set, your plans are set. So it's really fun to be able to put all the pieces together beforehand and then just have a plan to go by for the weekend.
Incredible, incredible. And obviously, field trips are always a ton of fun, pretty much no matter where you're going. It's a break from the usual. And all your programs, I'm sure, are a lot of fun, but they also play an educational role. So, how do these trips help shape young leaders within the Girl Scouts?
Yeah, I feel really lucky that I'm able to provide an opportunity that is different from something that they can do in extracurricular activities like sports clubs or other after school activities and outside of school. My job is to make things exciting and fun and different and exclusive to what our Girl Scout Council can offer versus their own troop meetings or what they can do in school and extracurriculars. So it's cool to chat with the girls and adults on trips that I take part in planning to see how the trip is impacting them, what they're excited for, what they were less interested in, and what they were really interested in doing. Because we plan them for them, and any feedback that I get from the trips is really helpful for making it work really well for the girls.
Awesome. And you're managing, I think the number I saw was around 18,000 Girl
Hmm.
Scouts across the country in places from Hawaii to Alaska, all across the country. So I wanted to ask you, what's it like? What's the most challenging aspect of managing so many scouts in so many different places?
Yeah. So actually the 18,000 is actually just in North New Jersey. There are Girl
Wow.
Scouting councils in all over America, and internationally as well. I have worked internationally with Girl Scouts because I host a trip that invites international Girl Scouts, but the majority of the girls that we're working with are in North New Jersey. But the biggest challenge is making sure that they're catered towards their needs and locations and wants, and ability to provide to attend. So I need to make sure that they're well located, that they're financially affordable for girls to either pay out of pocket, or their adults to, or that they can sell cookies, enough cookies to pay for the trip, or the program that I'm providing. Just making sure that I'm meeting all of those 19,000 at the same space.
Awesome. And what's it like coordinating with a national program, something like Broadway Bound that,
Mhm.
might more on, what might be taking somebody out of northern New Jersey into other parts of the country?
Yeah, that's a fun one. So Broadway Bound is a destination trip, and destination trips are available to all USA Girl Scouts, some international as well. Broadway Bound is a week of uh, checking out Broadway stuff and iconic New York City things. So we have girls join us from all over America. The most challenging part is probably the airport days, the day that we pick them up from the airport and then the day that we drop them off, making sure that everybody is in Newark Airport when they're supposed to be, if there are any delays, if there are any canceled flights, that we know how to pivot and be flexible with new plans. And making sure that everybody then arrives in the same place at the same time. Those days are challenging, but it's really, really cool to be able to meet other Girl Scouts from other states and other places of this country, because Girl Scouting doesn't look the same in every state, in every town even. It's really different. It's really, your experience is really highly impacted by what your troop leaders can do. And it's a volunteer run organization. So if your volunteer troop leader has time, then it can look really different from somebody that doesn't have as much time.
Awesome. Yeah. And you mentioned earlier, in your time at IC, you majored in anthropology, right? I caught
Mhm.
that.
Yep.
So how has your background now combined with your current experience, how have you how has your role influenced your perspective on youth education and development coming from college and now being, boots on the ground and seeing it happen?
Yeah. Studying anthropology, it was more of I made that choice because it was an interest of mine. It wasn't necessarily something that was going to push me into the job world, but I was interested in it. So I picked up a lot of really good people skills, and it was really interesting to learn about human culture and be able to use those skills in a program when we are on the ground, boots on the ground with the girls, and we need to pivot and do this, or we ran out of money here and we need to do this, or it's raining. And education with the youth, it's really great to have a role in it, to be able to participate in it. Luckily, we're able to bring in badge work as well, which is something that the national GS Girl Scouts of the USA sets for us, so we can kind of copy and paste it into our own programs, how we see fit in North New Jersey. But it's definitely really interesting to tie anthropology into that, and my experience in IC in a number of mentorship positions with what I'm doing here.
Now, it's not necessarily an elephant in the room, but I feel like a lot of people, when they think of the Girl Scouts, they're just thinking about the cookies.
Yep.
But there's so much more than that already that we've talked about: educational opportunities, traveling to different places around the country. What are some misconceptions about the Girl Scouts that people have that you want to clear up?
Yeah, I love opening people's minds to more of what happens within Girl Scouting. There's definitely there is the stereotype of cookies, and that is the main thing that we do. It's great, but I actually don't really work with cookies. If I also didn't have a troop on the side, which I volunteer for, so I'm paid here and I also volunteer. It's Girl Scouting all the time over here. If I didn't have my own troop, then I wouldn't really know much of what's going on with cookies, but we're currently in cookie season, so things that people don't expect are all of the programs that we do, all of the travel opportunities that we provide. We also provide Girl Scouting to those that can't necessarily access Girl Scouting. It's a national, you pay a fee, of course, when you join. Though it's nonprofit, that's the way that we're able to provide programming and staff and spaces, locations, facilities. So we're able to also provide a number of programs and Girl Scouting programs to schools for free. So there's a lot that goes on here. It's a lot to figure out internally, externally. But I encourage people to check out whatever they are interested in, because when you're looking for a job post college, you can find what you're interested in, if it's marketing or finance or programs in any company.
Amazing. And on along that same vein, there's lots of stuff to work on, obviously, all the time. how have you adapted your programs just in your time being here? How have you adapted your programs to address more modern challenges that girls are facing? And what does the future of Girl Scouts look like for you? What do you have planned for the future?
Yeah, I think it's really important to ask the girls what they're interested in doing, instead of just asking the program managers what they want and can do. So I really like surveying the girls on my trips and in my programs and the girls in my troop what they want to do. I look forward to bringing in more technology opportunities. It's something that we're interacting with the media, internet, our phones, and our laptops and iPads and things. We're interacting with those things all the time. So I look forward to providing some opportunities involving technology that allows us to interact with technology in a productive way and a mentally safe way.
Yeah, definitely something very important today. Media literacy, especially since it's a kind of a hot topic, not necessarily being covered in schools. It's great to provide
Yeah.
that access in an extracurricular program. So
Mhm.
that's a great. I love that. You mentioned that you are, you obviously have your position with the Girl Scouts of Northern New Jersey, and you also volunteer with your own troop on the side. How can people and students get involved? How can they volunteer to help out the Girl Scouts if they're interested in benefiting these programs?
Yeah, good question. One of the coolest things about Girl Scouting is that it's everywhere. It's in schools, it's in people's own homes, but it's all around the states and the country. So I encourage if people are interested in either volunteering with troops or volunteering with girls or just getting to know more about what a nonprofit is like, that they can reach out to a local council. If the I imagine if you Google your state or your town and Girl Scouting next to it, you can find a couple of opportunities nearby. Even just a phone call, give them a call and see what they can provide. Check out their website. We have a lot of information on our website. Personally, it can be a lot to digest, but the opportunities are out there, and we're always looking for help out here, at least in North New Jersey.
Awesome. And this might be a crazy question, but I feel like my whole life it's always been Girl Scouts is just for girls. Boy Scouts was previously just for boys. I know
Mhm.
they have made the move for Scouts, which I think is obviously a great change. Everybody should have access to programs like that. So, in terms of volunteering, can anybody volunteer to help out with the Girl Scouts?
Yeah, that's a good question as well. For my programs, it depends on what the program is. Of course, extra hands are always helpful. But for example, if I'm providing a number of panelists in a number of jobs, I prioritize women in different fields versus women and men. But if it's something that needs a lot of hands, we're more than welcome. We're more than happy to welcome anybody who's happy to help.
Awesome. Yeah, just something that popped into my
Yeah,
head.
yeah, that's a good question.
And while I have you here, obviously, you've been at this position for a number of months. I would love to know what your favorite part has been so far about creating these experiences and working with the Girl Scouts in a professional capacity.
Yeah, my favorite part is being able to recognize faces and names. That's very satisfying to me. To see a number of girls repeat and come out to programs over and over. That's really cool. And when they'll remember me from one area and one space and then see me at the next one, be like, oh, you're that lady from XYZ. That's very fun for me.
Amazing, amazing. And Amanda, we've covered a lot of topics today. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you want to make sure that we talk about? Any plans for the future that you're working on, programs, ways for people to get involved, any message, something that you would put on a poster, a little slogan, anything else that you want to add before we start to wrap up here?
I will mention that I do have a trip actually coming in September that I'm going to take a group from North New Jersey to Ithaca. So that's also
Ah,
very fun for me. I was able to propose that last year while we were making plans for 2025, and I look forward to that. It's themed for high school girls to be able to come in and visit Ithaca College and Cornell, get them exposed to the farmers market, the beautiful town in the fall, fall foliage time, and that's cool to me to be able to have adopted a number of programs. I inherited a number of programs and had to make them work over my first year, but now I'm able to really be creative and start my own new ideas now. So that's cool. That's all I had on my mind.
incredible. Yeah, I mean, best time of year to be coming to Ithaca, right at the tail end of summer. The weather's great, the
Hmm.
leaves.
Yep.
Incredible town. And yeah, that sounds like an incredible trip. And before we close out our time here, you a recent graduate, you have an incredible job, you're doing incredible work for an important cause, providing girls across America and the Scouts with these educational trips and opportunities and programs. You're doing amazing work, amazing things for girls across the country, and especially in northern New Jersey. So I wanted to ask you if you have any advice for anybody, really, somebody hoping to get involved in a similar position, for girls hoping to develop their careers and their educations, just any advice you want to leave with our listeners.
Yeah. For anybody working in nonprofit, probably stay positive. It can be hard to see where the money's coming and going, and stay positive. But for people that are in it, stay positive. For people that are looking to come into it, learn the skill of professionally bothering. That's something I had to learn when I was on the job hunt. And dropping off your resume, cover letter in person, giving the number of calls to follow up is a really great skill when you're job hunting. But yeah, stay positive and buy Girl Scout cookies if you're interested.
Absolutely. I already bought a box of Thin Mints,
Thank you.
devoured the whole thing right away. Gonna have to buy about three
Yep,
more before I'm
yep,
satisfied.
yep.
Well, incredible. Amanda, do you prefer Mandy or Amanda? Either way.
Honestly, I made the switch when I started as a professional. So everybody in my company calls me Amanda, but I've been Mandy for colloquially a number of years. So either or, no
All right.
preference.
Well, it's the Career Corner. We'll stay professional, Amanda.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Really glad to have you talking about something really cool. And folks at home, you don't have to wait for next episode to get career guidance. You can visit Drop-In Hours in Muller Faculty Center 101, Monday through Friday, 11 to 2. I'm Lukas Kauffman, and this has been Career Corner.